Hey there, we're Group 3. In this presentation, we will evaluate the status of the corporate strategy being pursued by Disney circa 1984 as they face an impending hostile takeover. Many factors played into making Walt Disney Productions an appealing takeover target. By the 1970s, without Walt at the helm of the company, his vision had been lost. Disney had begun to move away from their core competency, animated production, and as a result, the franchise had declined. Disneyland ticket sales were down, licensing fees of Disney characters had decreased, and the Wonderful World of Disney TV show had been canceled. In addition, the company's leadership lacked a clear strategic vision of where the company should go. Miller simply wasn't the visionary Walt had been. Management had been so focused on carrying out Walt's final wishes that they were not making plans for the future. Shareholders became concerned after stock prices reached the lowest they had been in 6 years, with no visible sense of urgency from upper management to improve stock performance. Disney did, however, have many attractive assets, including their highly valuable film library worth over $275 million. The Disney theme parks were valuable real estate, covering 225 acres in California and 28,000 acres in Florida. The park layouts were well planned, allowing room for future development. These assets allowed for immense merchandising opportunities. In addition, the Disney brand was incredibly strong in awareness and loyalty. Disney's three major business segments are film entertainment, theme parks and resorts, and consumer products. The film entertainment segment seemed to be where Disney struggled the most. Revenue decreased throughout the 1970s, and then the Wonderful World of Disney TV show was canceled in 1983. With this cancellation, the Disney Channel was launched, but would not gain traction to achieve profitability for several years. Disney theme parks and resorts, although dominant over other amusement parks in terms of revenue, had seen flatlined attendance in the late 1970s. Disney did maintain a strong competitive position in this segment with their family-oriented theme parks and resorts that were fully dedicated to bringing Disney characters and movie settings to life. The consumer product business segment was consistently profitable, thanks to an early strategy implemented by Walt Disney. By owning the rights to all of their characters, Disney maintained a valuable film library, which, in turn, fueled opportunities to generate revenue from customer products. The operating income in the consumer product segment was flat, yet stable. This put them in an average competitive position with large potential to grow. Disney's performance varied across its different segments. The profitability of the film entertainment segment had steadily declined from 1979 to 1983. This segment once made up 19.5% of the operating income, but by 1983 had fallen to negative 15.2%. In contrast to film entertainment, theme parks and resorts improved their profitability, growing from 58.6% to 89.4% of operating income. As was previously mentioned, the consumer product segment remained steady, accounting for 21.8% of operating income initially, reaching 25.8%. Overall, Disney remained a profitable company, but had room to grow with their consumer products and needed to re-strategize film entertainment. In the time when Walt Disney was steering the ship, Disney was a growth company. Walt had a strong theory for the company and created or influenced all of their strategic decisions during his life. He truly had foresight, insight, and cross-sight that guided all decisions made. After his death, the company quickly lost sight of his theory of value creation during its leadership transitions. Those who were placed in leadership positions had often been with the company for decades, but perhaps lacked the innovative and strategic thinking exemplified by Walt. New management seemed to be flatlining and somewhat lackadaisical about their performance in recent years. A growth company is one that continuously revisits its corporate theory through the lenses of foresight, insight, and cross-sight. It should reflect on its activities, including and perhaps especially its failures, allowing previous decisions and results to inform future strategy when deciding which position will create the most value for its customers. A company that is growing isn't content to be merely profitable, but seeks to engage in activities that will be complementary to their existing offerings in order to enhance their value. Typically, this type of active growth is reflected in the stock price of a corporation. As stock prices increase, it's a signal to the market that investors are excited about the activities and vision of a company. A company with stagnant or decreasing stock valuation is one who investors can sense is no longer engaged in value-creating activities. In response to Steinberg's offer, Disney should pay Greenmail by repurchasing Steinberg shares, trying to retain as much of their equity as possible, doing whatever it takes to keep their company whole. If they were to break up the empire, sell portions of it, or dilute their shares to the point where they did not maintain a controlling interest, Disney would lose the integration that made them successful by being able to implement elements of their characters and films across multiple platforms. Management needs to refocus on what made the company great, identify what makes them unique, and capitalize on this. In other words, Disney needs to be kept together. While it's unreasonable to just say, pay whatever it takes, that's really what Disney should be contemplating in terms of repurchase price. We suggest that Disney make the purchase of the necessary shares at $67.50 a share, up to $72.50 a share if necessary. Disney does not have much debt and has the cash on hand to make this a feasible action. It is likely that the Disney share will drop back down to a standard market value, if not a bit lower, as punishment from the market once the threat of takeover has been dealt with. If Steinberg takes over, his wealth consequences will be dependent on his investment position. If he intends to hold his assets for a long run, he will be disappointed as the value of Disney only truly shines because of the corporate theory of Walt Disney. If the company were to be carved up, it would not only lose a great deal of value as an asset, the divisions of the company would also drop in their individual values, as each division promotes and boosts the values of the others. Additionally, if Steinberg completes his takeover, the public shareholders will have made some quick money on their shares of Disney because of the enhanced market price due to the threat of takeover, but those who held their shares for the long run will lose out as the value of Disney goes down the drain, just as Steinberg will lose money in the long run as well. In summary, Disney should pay the Greenmail, keep their company together, refocus on their core competencies, and take advantage of existing growth opportunities that lie in their existing segments of business. Thank you to everyone for listening.